Is this thing on? Hello, it is Ticor Title Talk on a beautiful Friday in San Diego, California. We are in Mission Valley for your Friday title training, and it's June. It is June. It's the last part of the first half of the year as we get into June gloom. It's definitely June gloom today. And we are going to talk about doing it when you don't want to, right? And morning routines and gratitude. So this is the gratitude channel. You are tuned in to your Ticor Title Talk. But why? Why do we have morning routines? Why do we have routines, period? Because in the dog days of summer, when there's shifting landscapes on the market with graduations, with family obligations, with family reunions, with all the things that come with the beauty of summer and this part of the year, we lean into our routines and our campaigns and our protocols to just, even if it's one oar in the water, because you're so busy with life and life has plenty to throw at us. But your routines and your regimented systems will get you through some of the most chaotic parts of any time of year. The holidays are another one, but I don't know about you, but it gets nice outside and the waves are breaking just a certain way and the sand is hot and I have a hard time showing up to work, believe it or not. I want to go hang out on the beach all day, but I get into a routine, and I'm a big advocate of morning routines where you move your mind, move your spirit, and then move your body, and then bring your best self into today, right? Because if you can take care of yourself and be at your best version of yourself and bring your best self to the day, then you can be of value and service to others at the highest level. And that's what your routine and getting your mind right really has to do with real estate, with title, with sales. Is once you bring your best version into the day, now you can be available, be patient, and be valuable to those that you go out to serve, right? If I start off and that cortisol shot goes through my neurotransmitting system and puts fear and doubt into my brain, and I bring that into the day, I'm really no use to myself or anybody, or at least I'm not working at maximum potential and efficiency. But if I can whack that cortisol shot and that fear and loathing and rejection and fear of success and fear of rejection and all those things out of my head by getting into something spiritual, getting my mind quiet, putting some good, reading it or listening to a podcast, Ed Milet, all these guys, Mark Davini, Jim Rome podcast, The Reinvention Project, Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, the list goes on, something positive, and I put that content into my head. It's just like we are what we eat in our physical body, but we are what we consume in our mental and spiritual game, right? So I get in, I meditate a little, I maybe pray a little, have some devotionals, get some good stuff going on in the brain, and then you get a gnarly workout. And by 10 o'clock, I'm the best version of Ryan is going to be that particular day, for sure. So, but it starts with me. And this morning is an example. And me and Katie were joking that our Peloton rides mean double today because when you do it and you really don't want to, it means double in my book. So, but pushing through. And the reason that I was able to wake up and not even want to get out of bed because the sheets were warm and it was cold outside. And the reason I got in anyway is because of those routines. Because every day for the last 750 days, I have gotten out of bed, done this, followed by that, followed by that, followed by a workout, followed by the rest of my work day. And all I have to do now is say, okay, you got this. And I take that first step right into my routine. Okay. And next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock and I've worked out, and I've meditated, and I've read something, or I've listened to something that's of value. That's a lot of time to spend on yourself. But for me, I'm a little crazy and I got to work a little extra hard to get myself just to even, right? So I can come in, be of value, be of service to people that for the last 10, 20 years, for me, 21 years, I've been asking to use me for title. So when I ask people to use me for title and then they do, and we have a problem, I want to be my best on that. I want to react with positivity, with solution-based thinking. And I can't always do that if I just go from the cortisol shot, failure, fear-based mindset Ryan that wakes up in the morning. Does that make sense? So I recalibrate and I have a morning routine. I get into it, and that takes me into my physical routine, my mental routine. And then when life throws its challenges at me, or I don't feel like prospecting, and I don't want to call out closings, and I don't want to call out the buy sides of the listing agents deals that they sent us, and I don't want to call anybody, I just want to crawl into the ball. I have a better mindset having worked through my morning routine, and it lets me push through those barriers. It lets me push through that. What we joke about is the case of the don't want to's turning into the ain't gonna's, right? Because sometimes I don't want to, and that's human. And oh my gosh, how human of me. And honestly, if I'm being honest, most days I don't want to. So, and that, it's like in your fitness journey, in your entrepreneurial journey, for the small business owners out there, that's a lot of the experience, but you do it anyway because the standard is the standard, right? The protocol is the protocol. The day is out on the Outlook calendar for a reason so that I don't have to think about it. I just have to get into it and do it. So I found in my personal experience selling title insurance for 21 years since 2001, many peaks and valleys along the way. And one thing that has sustained me, regardless of what it looked like outside or inside or what have you, the market, how big or small my family was, how big or small my team was, what the name on the hat on the front of the jersey was. If I adhered to the routine, the simple recipe of things that got me to where I need to be, then I was able to help other people to get to where they needed to go. And in service, we find relationship, we find more business, revenue. Relationship is where it's at, right? And being available to those people that you want to serve, to those customers, past clients, etc. That availability, I mean, it's the best ability is availability. And we're not if we're locked in ourselves. And part of that whole morning routine is to get out of self and be available to really jump in and help others. So that's one thing, if you want to chop it up and see, hey, well, what is it that you do every morning? I'm happy to share. It sustains me. It makes me a better son, better husband, better dad. We had open house, track banquet, and a 5 a.m. ASB abduction where Bella made ASB and they take her out to breakfast at 5:30 in the morning. And I got to be there for that. How cool is that? And I got to be involved and be excited about it and share in that joy. And so that's part of the routine is showing up for my family, and bringing my best version of myself into that. So as that relates into pushing through the threshold, pushing through the dog days of summer that lie ahead, the change that may or may not be on the horizon, what we consider to be the normalizing of a real estate market in San Diego, not the crash, not the downturn, but just a normalizing. We've been at 200 and 250 miles an hour for the last 12, 18 months at least. And now you're going to see some inventory. You're going to see some 30, 60, 90 days on market. And that, if you look back to 15 and 16, is a robust, normalized market. People are worrisome of appreciation. I'm not the best mathematician, but I know that appreciation doesn't crest until inventory crests, right? Because that much inventory, more and more supply than there is demand, then you start depreciating. And inventory is still super low. I think we're in the high 2000s. Maybe we've overcome 3,000 units on the market. A healthy market is 6,500 to 8,500 units active. So we've got some gas in the tank, right? So everybody just needs to chill pill, like we were talking about a little bit last week, and just take it as it comes and focus on your activities. Focus on your relationships. Who are you talking to? Is it about you or is it about them? Can you help them? Have enough of those conversations. You're going to find people to help. You're going to find people that have questions. I promise you. You're going to have people that want to know about how their buying power diminished with the rise in interest rates, right? But you can't find those people if you're not reaching out, if you're not coming with the servant's attitude of how can I help these people? How can I educate? How can I motivate? How can I inspire, right? And that's where the routine and the protocol, and then building up your prospecting calluses. For us, it's calling our agents, calling our new customers, calling our current customers, letting them know that we care, that we're here, that we're not hiding under our desk, or that we haven't taken Friday off, that when they're working, we're working. If they're closing deals, we're closing deals. That's what it looks like for us. What does it look like for you, right? I mean, but most of all, have numbers you hit that you adhere to, and make them the standard. And then you can't go home until you've hit the standard, right? We had an awesome conversation with one of our business partners where a simple metric like 10 people I know and 10 people I don't. I'm going to talk to in person or on the phone or DM and then get on the phone with 10 people I work with or know, or and then 10 people I don't work with, don't know, right? That's very simple. That's something I can take and put into my job today. And I can probably reap rewards if I do it every day in a couple weeks. Meaning a question, a scenario they run by you, a neighbor that has vacated the house and might be a fixer opportunity. Who knows what that turns into? But if you do consistent outreach, 10 you know, 10 people you know, and 10 people you don't know, and you did that every weekday for 6 weeks, a couple things would happen. You would definitely have some irons in the fire. You would have a new buyer, a new flip, a new investor, a relationship, or maybe a new seller engagement and an upcoming listing. I can almost guarantee that. Okay. But what I can guarantee is you will have developed a rhythm, a cadence, and a new habit. Okay. Because a lot of people want to go from the couch to the Boston Marathon, and that just doesn't work. Okay. You've got to build up for that. The first step is getting off the couch, right? And then building times that exist in your calendar that you start jogging, stretching, doing all the things you would do to build up to a marathon. Start running 5 miles for 3, 4, 5 weeks, then throw in some 8 and 10 mile runs, and then you got to get to 18 and 20 and 22 mile runs. I don't know. I've never run a marathon, but I know that you build, 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 build. Same thing with running a business. Same thing with running a title team. We don't go from zero to tons of business overnight. You've got to put systems in place. You've got to do consistent outreach. You have to, once they do bring you business, you have to have systems to go over the problems or the challenges that exist in any transaction. Some are vanilla and just close and thank you very much. Others are child support lien. Somebody passed away and it wasn't in the trust, and now we have to go to the courts and have them decide who's going to sell it and who owns it and all these things. We navigate some pretty icy waters at times in title, but we're up to the challenge because we put systems in place, right? But that didn't happen overnight. Again, 21 years, and I'm still working on getting to the highest pinnacle and best version of myself, and we're changing and growing and learning all the time. But what does that look like for you? The first step is creating space in your calendar for lead gen, for conversation, for relationship connection and nurturing. And that's any sales job. If you sell cell phone plans, title, houses, loans, solar, whatever it is, pockets of outreach is critical. And then building a team and building systems in your business plan to nurture and help you leverage your time and leverage technology. Those are all things that come after you've built up a head of steam prospecting. So I just want to encourage you guys on your title training is have some form of a routine. Some people, it's get out of bed at 9, grab an English muffin, get to the office by 9:30, jump on the phone. Awesome. Some people, they get up, they meditate, they work out, they read a book, they do some other stuff, and then go to work. Cool. Awesome. The key is there's no right answer. We're as different as our fingerprints, how we approach the day, how we approach our business. The key is to have any routine, something that's replicable, something that is recognizable. Because I'll tell you, we live in a chaotic world. The business is going to be chaotic. The only constant is change. So if things are constantly changing, we need to and build and expand the controllables, the recognizability, and we're able to do that with a routine, okay? Because there's so much that's outside our control, right? The news, don't watch the news. The market, what the other agent on the other side of the deal is, what erratic moves they're gonna do, who's not gonna show up to title today and do searching, and who's sick, and all these things. I can't control any of that. But can it worry the heck out of me? Absolutely. Can it ruin my day? Yes, if I let it. But I have a routine that I control because I've never gone for a jog or jumped on the Peloton and not made it back. Okay. I know I'm going to survive whatever workout it is. Or I've never cracked a book and read for 20 minutes and not made it right. Like it's I win every time. It's a winnable event for me. So if I can control that, then that gives me a sense of something I can control, which gives me terra firma, a foundation of controllability. And then you focus on what you can control, and then the non-controllables tend to take care of themselves, right? So that's comes through a morning routine. Gratitude, I mentioned on the title, just because you know what, it's the best lens to bring to the day. It kills that cortisol shot and feels